Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Home Podcast FHP. We're delighted you can join us again. Today we will be looking back at the World Cup fixtures from the last couple of days since Friday, since it began on Sunday, and having a quick look ahead to some of the games coming up, as well as our usual predictions game. But first, we do have to start with the breaking news of the past hour that Cristiano Ronaldo and Manchester United have parted ways by mutual consent after the famous interview he did last week. I can see Warren has had no idea this happened. Mutual consent, he's left the club, and that's it. I think it bound to happen, really, Andreas. I don't think there was anything else really that could happen. He had to go after that.
Yeah, like that. That's what we have talked about for a while now. That like you can argue who is wrong and blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, it's best for both parts to move their separate ways. So this is absolutely the best solution. But with that said, I'm surprised that United is doing this. I would have expected them to try and sell him in the January window. But like with all that has happened, I get them and it makes sense. But like I can imagine they could have got a good amount of money for him.
They would. So, I mean, he would have gone for a world record transfer again. He would have smashed the record again for a second time in his career. He obviously smashed it when he went back to United with that 80 million. I think he smashed it when he went to Real, didn't he? So then.
Yeah, because like I still think people see him as a great player. Like I don't think all of that has changed because of this United thing. So I still think there's a lot of clubs that will be really happy to sign him. So yeah, like that's a very interesting move from United's part. But at the end of the day, it's probably the best. And with all the drama going on with Ronaldo and United, I can imagine that trying to sell him could have been very chaotic and maybe created even more drama. So yeah, at the end of the day, this is probably the best. But I am surprised that United are letting him go for free.
I don't think they had much choice, really. I think they had to kind of do that. They had to terminate his contract. But I think they should have held on and tried to get money for him.
Yeah.
I think that probably would have been the best bet for them, and it would have been they would have had the last laugh then that they'd be getting a couple of 100 million for.
Yeah, because he's probably still getting the money. Like he's probably still going to a club and for every other club.
United will still have to pay him, I would imagine, for the remainder of his contract.
Yeah, exactly. So
unless he finds another club. So
it's a very interesting thing, and especially to come up right now in the middle of the World Cup. So yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, Warren.
Yeah, I didn't know about this. Sorry, I've been in personal issues, but yes, I haven't been paying attention to anything today.
It only just came up in the past half an hour, to be honest.
Oh yeah, so yes, we all expected, they for them to part ways. I expected it to happen in the January transfer window. That's what I expected to happen. To see it happen now in the off season, World Cup is happening. It's going to have this ripple effect now with how he plays in Portugal also. So you'd have to think of both sides of the coin internationally. His psyche is probably all over the place also. But I mean, if it's a mutual thing, I guess it wasn't that ugly. And yeah, like Harry said, he's probably still cashing in paychecks until another club signs him. So for Cristiano, it's a win-win because he gets paid for doing nothing, and for other clubs, this is an opportunity to maybe strengthen their teams going into the second half of the season after the World Cup, post World Cup. So yes, it's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow with Portugal's game, and where that lands Ronaldo, and then what happens when the Premier League returns on Boxing Day, because we all knew he wasn't going to play that game. The last game in December, we all knew he wasn't going to start or play even. So, but to see him go now, this is kind of a surprise. I didn't expect it to happen now. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting watching the news. But Ronaldo he's legendary. So he will land on his feet again and be smiling to the bank. So But it's good for Manchester United also because all this drama is for this big club. Like it's not unnecessary and they don't need it. So they need to focus on getting trophies and getting the wins and getting the spots in Champions League and all that stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be an ongoing saga. I think the timing of it was poor. He really is overshadowing Portugal's World Cup preparations and going into the biggest. It's his last World Cup. He really should be focusing on that rather than trying to get out of Manchester United. He could worry about that afterwards. It's just a mess, really.
It's really a messy situation.
He's really, and I wouldn't, if I was the Portugal manager, I'd be dropping him for the first game. I'd be saying, look, I'm sorry, but you're trying to overshadow our preparations. It's not all about you. And undoubtedly the whole of the world's media is going to be all about that. And he even did an interview yesterday about it, which wasn't planned or anything. So it's all just...
Yeah. It depends on it, like, I get what you're saying, but it depends on if the manager feels like he can afford that, like, because it's Ronaldo is a big part of that team. So if he feels like Ronaldo is a really, really important part of winning that match, then he can't do it. Like, you only have 3 matches to do your absolute best. So
I don't think you can just. I think you have to kind of set standards, and I think you have to send a message. I think it's not about.
Like, you only have 3 matches. Like, you can end up going out really, really quick if you don't perform at your absolute best. So I get what you're saying, and I agree if the manager can find another solution, like if he can find another starting 11 that he thinks is best without Ronaldo. But if he feels like Ronaldo is a really, really big part of winning this match, then I think it's too big a risk to make. But yeah, like if he can find a solution to play without Ronaldo and still do a great job, then of course that would be a good idea. But I just don't know if he can find that solution.
Fair enough. We will move on to the World Cup, and we'll get quick thoughts on the Ecuador-Qatar game because it really doesn't need to be talked about for a very long time. Warren, if you have any thoughts.
Yeah, I watched the game. Yes, I'm sorry that I spoke over you. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. It was kind of interesting to see because I haven't seen Qatar play football before, so it was interesting to see the way that they're playing, and obviously they're the host nation, so people have these expectations, and being the first home nation to lose in how many years. And since somebody mentioned the number, I can't remember, but they mentioned it. But let's talk about Ecuador. They were actually very, very attacking going forward. And you have Moses Caicedo and all those players from Brighton and so forth playing. They were on the front foot for the majority of the game, so definitely deserved the win. I think a lot of people predicted it was going to end in a 1-0 game. It was. The scoreline is close, but it wasn't a closely contested game. Ecuador definitely deserved to win the match. So I think Qatar has got their work cut out for them.
Yeah, agreed. Like I think Ecuador really surprised me. I think Ecuador is a team that I didn't expect to do well. I thought Qatar would win 1-0 or something. So really, really surprised with Ecuador. And I know that it's probably on a cheap background. Like Qatar is not a good team. So I know that you can probably say, okay, Ecuador, are they really that good, or are they just playing a not so good team? But Ecuador surprised me, and I'm really interested to see them against Senegal because I think that's going to be a really, really interesting matchup. So yeah, Ecuador doing a really, really good job and deserving the win for sure.
Fair enough.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll move on then to England versus Iran, which took place yesterday morning. I thought this was a very impressive performance from England against a mediocre Iran side, but Iran did have threats. They had a guy who plays for Porto in the Champions League. They had a guy who scored 20 goals a season. So they did have threats, but England were just very, very solid. And we were debating the team lineup before the game. I think the big concern was over like some Mason Mount, Saka, Foden not being included, Harry Maguire, Jordan Pickford in the goal. There was a lot of question marks, but England really stepped it up, I thought. Jude Bellingham's, what a time to score his first goal, just the second teenager to score for England in a World Cup after Michael Owen. And what a goal it was too, what a header. Bukayo Saka going and scoring 2. Raheem Sterling even scored 1. He hasn't scored since August for Chelsea. Harry Maguire assisted a goal. It felt like England were... It felt like it was a good performance from England, and they looked solid and they looked good. Andreas?
Yeah, like I completely agree. I think for me the big thing with England is that I feel like England has maybe the best squad in the entire World Cup. At least they are up there. But it's just like that's just like when you see them play normally, it's like you can see how great they are, but that something is wrong. Like I think there's too much depending on the defense, while their offensive players are much better than the defense players. So I think the focus have been the wrong place. But with that said, it's still an England team that went to the Euros last year, went to the semi-finals in the last World Cup. So it is a good squad, but I just think in general, focus had been the wrong place. But with this match, they showed something very different. A very, very, very strong offense. Almost everyone playing had a part in the goals, and for the offensive part at least, in goals and assists, and just doing a really, really amazing job. 6 goals. That's really, really impressive. And again, like it's kind of the same with Ecuador. Like Iran, are they a good team? I don't really think so, but like 6 goals are 6 goals no matter who you're playing against. So yeah, really, really good job by them. I feel like they kind of slacked when it came to the goals. Like Iran scored 2 goals, and I don't think that was the best. But like I know there was a penalty that there's debate about if that was okay. Pickford should have taken the ball for the first goal. He should have gotten that. So like Iran's goals were not really impressive, but I still feel like letting 2 goals in was not good. But like that's not what this is about. England did a really, really good job, and at the end of the day, that's what matters. But it is going to be interesting against the bigger teams that has the same amount of great offensive players.
So, with that team that England have, I think they'll always score goals. Defense will be their issue.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Yeah.
I think it was a very decent back four, to be fair. Like even Harry Maguire did okay yesterday, to be fair, and he was the biggest worry. He's usually a concern for Manchester United, but it seems like when he plays for England, he's a different player. There was no real other candidate to come in and replace him, so. But I thought he did pretty well as well. Against the bigger teams, they may struggle though, because it won't be as easy to go and score goals, and they may have to adapt the formation to be more defensive. It depends, but I think they need to rely on their attack, because their attack is probably the best in the world.
Yeah,
Warren,
and also no, go ahead.
Yeah, Warren, if you have any thoughts on the game?
Yeah, definitely. I listened to what you guys said. Yes, Iran is a weak. I wouldn't say they're a weak team, but they're not as up there as England. But getting 2 goals against England, I mean, fill in the gap for Iran should give them a little bit of a boost going forward into the next couple of matches. On the England side, I mean, like I said in the last podcast or a couple of podcasts ago, England has the most experienced team and they've got the advantage because all these players play together in the Premier League. They play together in the Champions League. They play against each other. They play with each other. So they know each other's strengths and weaknesses. So bouncing off of that, it's going to be easier to maneuver on the field and getting the balls in the right spots and getting into the last the 6-yard box. I wasn't surprised about Bellingham. I don't know why people are surprised about Bellingham. He's always in my fantasy team. Champions League, World Cup, he will be there because that man delivers. And he will continue to deliver. And this is just amazing for him because, I mean, first World Cup goal, this is the first of many to come. And Marcus Rashford was in the goals. Great to see him in the goals as well.
Jack Grealish.
I think Jack Grealish, I mean, people had the question marks about him. and he's proved them wrong. Collectively, England just did well. I agree with you guys. Defensively is where they need to sharpen so that they don't concede as many goals, because that could be the downfall against bigger teams. So it's going to be interesting what happens between England and USA on Friday.
Yeah, I think England will do decently against them, but we'll see. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The next game was Senegal against the Netherlands. The Netherlands kind of winning, no surprise, but it took them a while to kind of get there. Senegal made life difficult for them. And it wasn't until the last 10 minutes when they really started to get somewhere and really get on the scoreboard. Warren?
Yeah, I wasn't surprised that Netherlands won. I think I actually predicted they were going to win 2-0. So I was just surprised at who the goals came from. But however, I mean, you've got Virgil van Dijk, you've got all these big players again in the team. And I think a lot of people are making this happy about Sadio Mane not being in the Senegal team. And you've got Mendy in goal. And it's still a lot. It was a story of two different teams for me. But like you said, it took a while for them to get there. But at the end of the day, Netherlands were the firm favorites, and it's no surprise that they won. I just think that Senegal is going to struggle without Mane, and they're going to struggle because Mendy isn't at the form that he used to be, and he is the world's best goalkeeper according to records, but he's not showing that, and it's going to be tough for Senegal moving forward. And I think this was a big win for Netherlands because this was one of the toughest teams that they were going to face in this team, I think, in this group. So for Netherlands getting in the front, it's great. And they've got one less opponent to worry about, where Senegal has to still keep working. So they need to continue. As much as they are great keeping the goals out, because it took them a while to get the goals, Netherlands the goals in, they need to actually get on the front foot and start scoring quicker and get the deal done even in the first half in the next game. Otherwise, it could end up as an early exit for Senegal, and that's going to be that's not going to be ideal, because I know they're waiting to see how Mane is doing medically, so that if they do make it to the next round, maybe Mane can feature in some of the games. So let's see what happens.
Andreas?
Yeah, I think Netherlands is the strongest team in this group. I don't think that is any shock at all. And I think, at least before the World Cup started, I had Senegal as the second strongest team. And I still think that's the case, but that's why Ecuador and Senegal is going to be really, really interesting, because I really don't see Qatar having any chance. So I think this is going to be a match between Ecuador and Senegal. And I think both teams have good chances of winning that. And I think also, like, a clear important thing with this is that Senegal was playing Netherlands. That is a really strong team. And I would say that defensive, I think Netherlands is a very, very strong team. I think they're stronger.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, they are stronger defensively than I would say they are offensively.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that as well. I do feel like that. Like, if you look at their back line, they had Virgil van Dijk, Nathan Ake, and Matthias de Ligt. And like, even on the and then Daley Blind and Dumfries were the wing backs, and then even on the bench you had the likes of Jurriën Timber, Stefan de Vrij, Terrell Malacia. So like, defensively they have a lot of quality. It's just going forward. And I think that may be their undoing. They'll make life difficult for teams, but like, if they can make life difficult for teams, sit back, hit them on the counter attack, and grab a goal or two when teams tire, then
I think that's exactly, like, it's the exact opposite than of England. Like, England is much stronger offensively, where here it's the opposite. So, but yeah, like when you go on and score 2 goals, it's still going well. Like, we can't say, okay, Netherlands have a bad offense because they went out and scored 2 goals. So it's going great for them at the moment. But I think against the bigger teams, I think they will have some problems scoring goals. But for Netherlands right now, it's looking really good, and I see them getting all 9 points of this group. I would be shocked if they don't, to be honest. And with Senegal, I'm really interested in the Ecuador match, because I still think Senegal is a good team.
They have to win. They have to win the next match. It's a must win.
Yeah, and the next match that's Ecuador.
Yeah, so that's going to be the toughest one after the Netherlands. If they can get past that and beat Qatar, it might give them a foot in the door.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting, and I really think no matter who wins that is going to move on. Yeah. So we really, 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 really interesting group.
The next game took place last night, and that was USA 1, Wales 1. Bit of an odd game. Nothing really. I suppose the probably fair result. I think there's nothing much between the teams. Warren?
I'm trying to think because I was watching this game. I was watching this game, and I think actually, USA had it in the bag. Just looking at the game, they were at the front foot first half. They dominated. But I don't know if it was fatigue that crept in near the end. But second half, they didn't even have one shot on target. And I think they let a lead slip through their hands. And to think the counter goal came from a penalty. I just think they made a lot more mistakes in the second half. If they played the second half like they played the first half, they could have gotten all 3 points. But for Wales, the game changed when Kiefer Moore came on because he completely changed the game and basically gave them the confidence to go on the attack. And Gareth Bale getting that penalty in, sealing the deal, getting them both a point. So it's going to be hard work for both teams now to get going forward, because I think USA is facing England next, and I don't know who the other team is facing. Sorry, Wales. I don't know who they're facing. Iran. So Wales will have the easier fixture, I think. So it's going to be tough for the team that I'm actually rooting for, USA, going forward.
Yeah, fair enough. Andreas?
Yeah, I think I agree with Warren. I think USA was the better team here. I think they were, but I think Wales, of course, like Wales were playing against some really, really great players and some of the greatest players in the world, at least according to Joe Biden. But but if we remove that, I still think USA have some decently good players. And the fun thing with Wales is that, like, I think you can argue Wales have the better players. A lot of them play in Premier League and all this kind of stuff. But they just have this mentality to feel like underdogs. Like every time you see Wales, they just have this underdog mentality. And I think that was a part of getting them the draw. I don't think they were playing the greatest at all. I think USA was playing the best. But they just have this mentality to show we are here to really do something. So yeah, really, really good whistle for Wales, and I guess it's a fine whistle for USA as well. And I think this is going to come down to whoever can beat Iran the most, and whoever can
lose to England the least
against England. So yeah, I think that's really what it comes down to, because England is going to win, I think, and Iran will be last. So yeah, this is going to be the big battle between them.
I think England is the firm favorites of this group. So it's going to be a battle between, those three. Yeah. Actually, those two, because the other team really lost. So I think it's between Wales and USA.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We'll move on to today, and the big shock this morning was Argentina losing to Saudi Arabia. I don't think anyone saw this coming. It was quite a shock. Messi scored a penalty after 10 minutes. You thought surely from there they'll go on and dominate. They nearly had a second at one point, but they were offside. And Saudi Arabia just somehow managed to grab a winner against all odds. Andreas?
Yeah, so yeah, this was shocking. Like, it was really shocking. And I think I tried to look into it because I had no idea what Saudi Arabia were able to do, and I absolutely expected Argentina to destroy them. But I looked into it, and apparently 9 of the 11 players in the starting lineup from Saudi Arabia are playing in the same team. 9 of 11 starting players play in the same team.
What?
Yeah, and all the players in the entire squad of Saudi Arabia play in the Saudi Arabian league. So there's not one player that's not playing in the Saudi Arabian league. So kind of what Warren is saying with the English squad, that they know each other so well. This is a team. Saudi Arabia is a team that really, really knows each other, because they all play in the same league, and a lot of them play in the same team. And that team they play for is also a team that wins the league almost every year. So really a team that knows each other. And I think that's really what we saw here, because I think Argentina did a good job. I think they were really good offensively, but Saudi Arabia just knew what to do against them. And they played a very, very, what's the word? The defense was very high up. So Argentina made a lot of offsides, because every time they got the ball, it was offside. And that was a part of Saudi Arabia's style, that they wanted to play high up with the defensive. So really, really good job by them. And those goals they made were really amazing. And I don't even think the keeper could have done anything about either of them.
Just to say, Saudi Arabia had 3 shots in total in the whole match. 2 shots on target, 2 goals, 30% possession compared to Argentina's 70. Argentina had 15 shots total, 6 on target. Very, very, very shocking to see this. If you look at stats.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly what I think. Like Saudi Arabia, they had a plan, and they went out and they delivered on that plan. Because of course Argentina will have more chances, they will have more of the ball. Like everyone knows that, but it doesn't matter if you don't score the goals. And so Saudi Arabia had a really, really good plan here, and it worked. And I think a big part of that is how well they know each other. But again, quickly, like with Argentina, I think Argentina played good actually, and I still think they have a lot of chances. But it's going to be tough now for sure.
Yeah, I think Saudi Arabia will make life very difficult for the other 2 sides in the group as well. I think Saudi Arabia could be really a big surprise in this group.
The actual surprise package.
Warren, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this game at all.
I was at work when this game was on, so when I came into the chat and Anderson, I think it was Anderson, it was like 2-1. It's when I actually jumped into the chat because it was my last break, and I was like, what's going on? And I actually think I made a post on my WhatsApp or something and saying, hi guys, what's happening with Argentina? I think the biggest surprise for me about is not the fact that Saudi Arabia scored 2 goals in like 3 minutes. It was, for me, the biggest shock was that Argentina couldn't equalize.
Exactly.
That was, to me, the biggest shock, because for me, you've got Messi and you've got Di Maria, you've got all these big players that's, legends, and none of them could do anything. I was just
on the bench.
Yes, I was so surprised. And people, like my one friend was like, "Oh, Julian will save us. Julian is gonna save the day." And then and then this long extra time, and I was like, for sure, Argentina scoring. Like it was 8 minutes, and then the extra time was, or the injury time was like 13 minutes at the end of the day. What in the world? But it's a big shock. And I think Saudi Arabia is going to hang on to this lead for all it's worth. And then they could, like you guys said, they are proving to be a strong team, and people obviously underestimated them. And Argentina will have to dig deep and make sure that they win the next 3 matches. And
not going to be easy. Denmark.
It's not going to be easy.
We're going to be very difficult.
It's going to be difficult.
Fair enough. It's been a day of upsets. Denmark 0-0 with Tunisia. Of course, I have to come to Andreas first. Andreas, your thoughts?
Just a really, really bad day. Like, really bad day for me. First, Argentina, that was not the worst, but I still wanted Argentina to win because I think they are winning it all. So my pride wants them to do great, so I don't look like a complete fool. But of course, the most terrible thing today was this, and it's not like I just know what we can do. Like I know how great we can play, so this is just not good enough. and I think Tunisia really showed that they are actually a very, very good team. So it's not even that, like, they were a really great team and much better than I expected. But even with that, I have seen how great we are. Like, we have beaten France at the, like, as a really good team, like not even just a bench team, like most of the starting team from France. So I know what we can do, like at the Euros last year. So this is just not good enough, and I don't even know what the problem is, because I think the lineup was very well. So I don't know, but it's just not good enough, and we really need to be careful now. Yeah, this is going to be tough now. And like the crazy thing is that it's a draw. Like it's not even that bad. Like it's not as bad as compared to Argentina, for example, that is losing. But at the same time, it's just like it's a match that we really should have won before the match, like compared to how great we are or can be. So not good enough from our side, and at the same time, a lot of respect for Tunisia.
Denmark had 11 shots, 5 shots on target, whereas Tunisia actually had more shots. They had 13 shots, but only 1 on target. So it's not like you didn't have chances or opportunities.
No. And with that quickly, I think that both keepers really did a great job. Like I think if both teams had their second keepers on, there would have been like 2 or 3 goals for each team, honestly. Schmeichel did a great job, and Tunisia's goalkeeper did a really good job as well. So they saved the day for both teams, to be honest.
Warren?
Yeah, I think the theme of this World Cup is going to be do not underestimate teams, because the teams that you are underestimating is coming to prove a point. And I think that this was the one match that Denmark should have won in the group. They got a point, so I mean it's not that bad. But I think this is the one match where they had, guaranteed 3 points in the bag. And I guess it was one of those matches where the keepers were keeping both teams in the game. I'm not surprised with Schmeichel; he's amazing. And then it's again the case where in Tunisia they brought the game to Denmark. They didn't just roll over and die. So for me, it was just it was just a bad day at the office for Denmark. But it's a day that they could have been without. They should have made the most of this game, and they didn't. And it could smidgen of a chance hurt them come the end of the group round. So, but I guess this group is wide open now. So they're seeing what happened in the other match. So, yeah, that's my thoughts.
Fair enough. The final game of the day so far, still France-Australia to come, was Mexico and Poland 0-0. Lewandowski missed a penalty. Well, it was saved by Ochoa. Warren has no clue what's happened today.
we need a whole show just with Warren's reactions to stuff. We need a whole show just with that.
We need to literally catch Warren up. We need to literally do a Warren update.
I just think it's just the times that the games are on. It's bad for me because I can literally only watch one game. So I'm dependent on going onto the app and watching the highlights or getting the updates in our chat or whatever. So it's difficult for me to keep up. So I don't know who missed the penalty. So if I say, oh, Lewandowski, well, I mean, he's not in my fantasy team, so I don't care.
Fair enough. Andreas?
Yeah, I think for me the story with this match is that Mexico was so much better. Like I really think they should have won this, and like I expected them to win before the match, but then when I actually looked at the match, I was surprised about how much better they actually were. But like all of that, it doesn't matter if you don't score the goals, and that's the story here. I guess Poland did a really good defensive job, so there's also that, of course. But in general, I think Mexico was much better. And yeah, but and also like Mexico has a really good squad, like especially defense as well. Their keeper, like such a great keeper for Mexico, and the way that like you can argue that Lewandowski didn't have the best shot, but like he still saved that like a true legend. So a really great keeper for them. yeah, like that's for me the story is that I think Mexico was really, really great, and I'm worried for Poland because it's only going to get more difficult from now on with Argentina, Saudi Arabia that's doing really good apparently. So yeah, Poland is going to have a difficult World Cup, just like they have had the last couple of World Cups, which is also difficult because this is probably Lewandowski's last World Cup. So yeah, I think Poland is going to have it really, really tough now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And that is the end of the review. We will be looking ahead now to some of the games coming up over the next few days. We'll try and keep these quick so that we're not taking up too much time. So we have time for our predictions at the end. So the first game tomorrow is Morocco-Croatia. Croatia's first game of the tournament. And I know Warren has Morocco as his surprise package, and he's said, or Abu, sorry. Yeah. And
Well,
I know, Warren, you did say not to underestimate Morocco.
Yeah, I said it's only because what's the guy's name? From Chelsea is in that team, and I actually like him.
Hannibal Menchbury.
No, Zaim.
Ziyech.
Yeah, bad.
But I don't think he's there actually. But I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pity. But I hope they do well. I'm not a fan of either of the teams, so I mean I could do with a draw also. It's not one of the matches that you're gonna go and run to, but I do think Morocco could surprise people. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, quickly with this. Like I think Morocco is not normally a team I go like, okay, I think they will do great. Like I think there are other African teams that I expect more of from like Ghana and Senegal, for example. But I'm actually really interested to see Morocco because I feel like they have something, and Croatia is also a team that's like it's very hit and miss sometimes with them, but so yeah, going to be a really interesting match. I guess I have Croatia winning, but I think it will be close.
I think it's gonna be a draw.
Mm-hmm. Harry, you here?
Could be. That'd be a. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
We can hear.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a shock. Okay. The next game is Germany versus Japan. I think Germany will be expected to win this one, but Japan can cause an upset. They're usually a decent side at World Cups.
Yeah.
I'm not going to underestimate any team. After today, no way. But Germany is the odds-on favorite. But it also depends on how they perform at the end of the day, who they've got in their squad. And I expect full-heartedly that Germany will win. But I will not be surprised if there's an upset and Japan puts the screws on them. So it's going to be interesting. But I think it's going to end up, I think Japan will get a goal in. But so I'm predicting 2 or 3-1 for Germany.
Yeah, for me, the story with this is that I think Germany is winning. I can't lie about that. But the story for me is that I think Germany is a very, very weak team at the moment. And I think if we look at the strongest teams like Portugal and Spain and all these kind of teams, I have Germany as the weakest one of all of them. So yeah, I don't expect much for Germany this World Cup, but I still think they are winning this, and it's still Germany. Like Germany is always a good team. So yeah.
We do have a couple of viewers. Just to say hello. If you want to leave any comments, please do. It does help grow us, and we will say hello to you as well. We will address the comments. We will
be nice.
Exactly. The next game is Spain-Costa Rica. Spain will be big favourites for this, but the problem with Spain is that they don't have a clear striker. And Costa Rica do have a decent goalkeeper in Keylor Navas from Real Madrid. That will make things interesting. Spain should win, but without a clear striker, it is going to be interesting.
Yep.
To say the least.
Yeah.
Our good friend Richard watching. Guten Tag, Germany will win. I think they will too, Richard, to be honest.
I'm getting worried because if Richard says Germany will win, they'll probably
they're probably not winning.
You should be embarrassed to wear it, Richard, after today. You should be embarrassed to wear it.
What is he talking about now, Richard? You need to explain yourself. I say so much, so I don't know what you... Wait, what's the... Oh yeah, it's Denmark. It's Denmark. As you can expect, of course. I thought it said something else. I thought it was without the R. So I misunderstood what was said. But yeah, it's the Danish shirt, of course. Not so good right now, sadly. But yeah, with the Spain one, I like... Spain is a team for me that I think they can do really, really well. Like, I think they have a really good squad. A young squad, but a good squad. But they can also just completely fail and just do a terrible job. And that's the story with Spain at the moment for me. But I think with this match, they're winning. But I remember that Costa Rica has had some... Like, I think it was up to this that they did a really, really good job. So I'm interested in this match, but I think Spain will win.
Yeah, I agree, just to say. The next game is Belgium-Canada. This should be a cracker. I would imagine Belgium should win comfortably here. The problem with Belgium is they do have an aging team, but I think they should have enough to get past Canada.
Yeah. Yes. They've got Tielemans, they've got De Bruyne, they've got a lot of big stars in there, even though they're aging. But yeah, they've got big stars. I don't have much faith in Lukaku, to be honest. I'm sorry.
No one does.
But I think with De Bruyne, De Bruyne has been on form for the last couple of seasons. And Tielemans, they're known to score some crackers. So I expect Belgium to do amazingly. But again, with this World Cup and what we've seen so far, I mean, please, dear God, let Belgium win.
Yeah, I think the story for me with this
root for Canada.
Yeah. He's Canadian, to be fair,
yeah,
so it makes sense.
For me, the story with this group is that I feel like Belgium and Croatia should be the strongest teams, but at the same time, I think Canada has a lot of potential. I really do. Like,
yeah.
I think we should not underestimate Canada. And Morocco as well, like I think a really good team as well that should not be underestimated. And with Belgium having this aging squad, like we have said it for a long time now, that this is the last chance. And Croatia as well, like what are they without Modric? Luckily for them, Modric are playing, but what are they doing in a situation where he's not at his best? So both Belgium and Croatia, it can go wrong for them. And in that case, I think Canada and Morocco will be difficult because both teams are not someone you should underestimate. So yeah,
and Modric is also aging as well. So it's both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
Don't tell Abu that.
He knows.
Yeah. So a really interesting group in my opinion. And like I have Belgium winning, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll move on to the next game. In the next group, we have Switzerland versus Cameroon. I think that should be an interesting game. I would say that it could be interesting in that it could be a very dull game. I think both sides could cancel each other out easily.
Yeah, definitely. But I see Switzerland definitely. I believe they're going to take it. Cameroon, they haven't been at their best the last couple of seasons, or the last couple of campaigns. So it's going to be, it could be, one of those dull games where it's 1-1 or 0-0. But I think Switzerland has the edge. It's just how they're going to perform at the end of the day. That's going to determine whether they can, get their foot over the line.
Yeah, I agree with Brie. I think Switzerland is winning this one. I think, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but I think Cameroon is one of the weaker African teams. So I'm going with Switzerland, but this is also a really interesting group because besides Brazil, everyone can take second place. To be honest, Serbia is a really good team. Switzerland is a good team as well. Cameroon could also show up and be really, really great because they are a good team, just weaker compared to the other African teams, I would say. But I could absolutely see them doing well against Switzerland and Serbia. So yeah, really interesting. But I'm going with Switzerland winning with
Yeah.
1-0.
Yeah, I think Cameroon has to win this game if they want a chance.
Exactly.
They have to win this one because the other teams that they're going to face is going to be much tougher opponents. So it's a must win for them, not so much for the other team.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We will move on. The next game is Uruguay, South Korea. This should be interesting. Could be a very wide open game. Uruguay have the talent, though. They have the players, and they should do a good job, and they should win this outright. Pretty much should be very comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah, Uruguay, they always go on.
No, you can speak, it's fine.
Okay. Uruguay is always how can you say it, overperform in a way when it comes to World Cup. Like they are so great when it comes to the World Cup. And it's never like I look at Uruguay and I can see they have a great squad, but it's not like Good question. No, Uruguay it's like they have a good squad, but it's not like I'm going, okay, this is the greatest team in the world. Like not at all. But at the same time, they just do it World Cup after World Cup. They were the first team to ever win a World Cup, so they have a lot of history as well with it. So yeah, I think Uruguay is winning this, and especially with there you go, Uruguay. Especially with a South Korea team without Son. So yeah, Uruguay is going to do really, really well.
Yeah, definitely. I think Uruguay is going to be fan favorites in this group, and I mean they've got Nunes. I'm a bit biased when it comes to Uruguay, and they've got Suarez. I think it's Suarez's last World Cup. Those two in the front, I think can do a lot of damage. And I mean, the squad depth is really, really good. So, and they always perform. I've never seen a World Cup where they've been disappointing, especially in the starting couple of rounds. So Uruguay is the firm favorites to win here by miles.
Yeah, fair enough. You're very welcome, Brie.
Is he frozen?
The next game is Portugal-Ghana.
Can you see me?
This should be interesting. Portugal-Ghana should be interesting because of the whole build-up to it, the whole Cristiano Ronaldo saga that we've discussed. I don't really know what to say. I think Portugal should win, but you just never know. Ghana can be good on the day. Yeah, Andreas?
Yeah, Ghana is not a team at all to underestimate. I don't think they have the greatest squad at the moment, but still a really, really strong team in my opinion. And
not like the days of Michael Essien and all that.
Yeah. And I remember in the South African in 2010 where they went to the quarterfinals. I don't see that happening here, but yeah, they still have a really, really good squad.
Portugal and Ghana, Brie, just to say, Portugal and Ghana.
Yeah. No, Ghana, I think they are going to be difficult to deal with for Portugal. I think I'm going with Portugal winning, but this could easily be a draw. I think also with all the Ronaldo stuff going on, I think Ghana can really mess with Portugal. But Portugal is a strong team, and of course Portugal should be favorites. So yeah, but really like a really interesting match that I'm one of the ones I'm most excited for this round, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
The next game is Brazil-Serbia. Brazil are big favourites for the tournament, so it should be interesting to see how they do. They really need to go out and set a marker, I think, to live up to their favourites tag. They have the best attack in the tournament. They have one of the best squads. They really need to go out and set a marker, I think, in this game against Serbia to show that they are worthy of the favourites tag. I think they should win comfortably, though. Andreas?
Yeah, Brazil should win comfortably. Brazil is very likely the favorites to win all of this. I think no matter who you ask, Brazil will be what you expect. And I don't think Brazil is winning it all, but I think they are going very, very far. So I can't see them not going through this group. With that said, I think Serbia will be their biggest opponent in this group. I don't think South Korea really have any chance, and what's the other team? Yeah, Switzerland. So I think Switzerland have a chance, but I think Serbia is really, really strong and not a team to underestimate at all. So I think it's going to be tough, and I think it's really important that Brazil, it's important that they don't let it go to their head with expecting them to win and all this kind of stuff. Like, they need to go out and just do their job and not think way too much about all the other stuff going on, because there is a lot of attention on Brazil, obviously, like there always is. So yeah, I think Brazil is winning. They just need to to keep calm and do their best job. And at the best day, they are better than Serbia, of course. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely Brazil is the firm favorites to win, but they need to go out there and get that win. They can't rest on their laurels, and they because Serbia isn't to be underestimated. So even though they don't have Mitrovic playing the first couple of rounds because he's still dealing with a foot injury, they are the firm favorites to win. I just hope that they can get their foot over the line early, because it would be a shame to see them go out in the tournament. But I do question the coach's decisions when it comes to the squad itself. People he left out, like Bobby Firmino and so forth. So it's going to be interesting. I'm rooting for Brazil, but if Serbia wins, I wouldn't be surprised.
Fair enough. That is the end of the game week 1. Round 1 fixtures. Into round 2, because we will go until Friday. The big one is Wales versus the first game up in round 2 is Wales versus Iran. This is a big game for Wales. They need to make sure that they win, and win big, because that's their qualification rides on it, really.
Yeah, it is. Like, I think Wales is winning this one, and they just need to win as big as possible, because again, that's what it comes down to for USA and Wales. Who can do the best against Iran, and who can try and be as defensive as possible against England. So yeah, and maybe I'm ruling Iran completely out of this, and I'm sorry if anyone thinks Iran is better than I think they are, but I think Wales is a much better team, and I think we will see that.
Yeah, definitely. I think Wales is going to be a force. They've proven it against USA. They can come back, and they won't sit back and let the game come to them. They're gonna go out and fight for their place in the competition. So I do expect them to give everything they've got in this game, and they have that grit and that killer instinct to go through to the finish line and get that W. I just hope for them sakes they do get it, because like you guys said, contingency on this competition could be based on what happens in this next game.
Yeah. And into back to Group A and Qatar, Senegal. You would imagine this is another big game for Senegal that they need to try and go out and win to keep their qualification hopes alive, as do Qatar, but Senegal, I think, have a better chance in this one and should win it.
Yeah, I think this is where we will really see if Senegal is a real threat. Like, we need to see here, this is their chance to show us that they can score goals, they can be a threat, and they can do a good job defensively as well. So yeah, that's what they need to show, because again, like against Netherlands, it's understandable that they don't really have a chance. So this is really their chance to show that they are in this tournament, and they have the squad and the way of playing to be a true threat.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
definitely.
Give me a second. I'm trying to get the pictures up because
I'm sorry, I'm distracted. The game started.
yeah, so we'll try and get this done quickly. The next game is Netherlands Ecuador. They should be Ecuador need to obviously win to try and keep their hopes alive as well. Both teams really, this will kind of decide top spot in the group, you would imagine. Netherlands should win, but don't rule out Ecuador. Valencia was very good on the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
important for the Netherlands to go out and get a big win here.
Yeah, I think that's the story with this. Like, it's the opposite of with Senegal. Like, Ecuador have showed what they can do against teams like Qatar, but here we need to see, like, are they a real threat to the bigger teams? I think Netherlands is winning, but I am really interested to see what Ecuador can do in this World Cup, because they surprised me against Qatar. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think Netherlands they win this one. They're sailing right through. Ecuador, if they get the win over the Netherlands, I think it would be a major boost for them, and it would set them a drift to the next round and give Netherlands something to fight for. So it is a crucial match if you look at it. Even though both teams have won their first two matches, their opening matches, this one could decide who gets their foot into the door of the next round already, and who still has to fight
the
other team.
It's important to win this group, because then you will avoid England probably in the next round.
Yeah.
Because obviously the winner of Group A will play the runner-up in Group B.
Yes.
So you don't want to play England in the next round. So there's a lot on the line for both sides. And then the final game on Friday night is England versus USA. Should be a comfortable win for England, but USA were decent enough last night and could cause problems.
Especially for England's defense. So this is actually the game where England will have to sharpen up their defense. And no, I'm not saying put Trent Alexander-Arnold in. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying sharpen up. That's just the more refinement at the back. And just to make sure that they don't concede the many goals, because you don't want to give a team like USA the chance to probe through and penetrate your defense. It could snowball, and that first win means nothing.
Yeah, I think this is a really fun one, because like USA and England, of course, so much history. So of course a fun match to have. And of course, like, England should be favorites, but I think it's very spot on with what Warren is saying, that like America is a step up from Iran when it comes to the offensive part. So this is really where, of course, England will score goals. I guess they will win, but this is really where they need to sharpen up their defense, because USA is going to be difficult to deal with in terms of that. But I'm pretty confident England will win. But I think it will be a good match for sure.
I just hope that England replace Pickford, because I think Nick Pope or Aaron Ramsdale would both do a better job, and they're both in good form. Ramsdale obviously top the table with Arsenal at the moment in the Premier League. Nick Pope doing really well with Newcastle. Really in form. So it would be good to see one of them get the goalkeeper shirt, but I think Gareth Southgate will keep faith with Jordan Pickford. He likes Pickford for some reason. And keep picking him.
It's weird because Pickford, out of all three goalkeepers, has conceded the most goals in the Premier League. It's the stupidest thing. Sorry to say it.
Yeah, no, I agree completely.
But I do believe that Karen, I don't call him Karen Southgate, has his favorites, and those favorites will always get priority. It's just one of those things with him that I've noticed. But for England's sake, I hope they win so that they can keep the momentum. But for my own selfish, personal thing, I want USA to get a win so that they can get some points on the board.
Yeah. And that is the end of the review. So we will get into our predictions game.
Oh my God.
Before we go into making our predictions, we will kind of do a quick revisit of last week's predictions. We actually have Richard's punishment from last week from losing the
my God.
the last round. He had to do 15 press-ups. So let's watch that. If I can
All
get
right,
to look.
because I'm feeling like it again, I'm going to do the Football Home Podcast predictions punishment. And screw you, Andreas, for making it 15 push-ups. And to suck it up back to you, I'm going to try to double that, which is 30. So hopefully I didn't pass out, but if I can't, I'll just stick to 15. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. That's flipping tough, but take that. But yeah, good challenge. Hashtag FHP. Hopefully we get more views, but yeah, that's it.
I don't know why on earth he did more than he had to, but
Don't ask. Just let him do it. It's fun.
so we'll go back over this week's predictions that we made on Friday. Don't forget this is a league, so these predictions, unfortunately for me, do not count yet. So we have Abu on 0 points, having said Denmark to win for 1 point and Qatar to win 1-0 for 3 points. We have Warren so far on 0 points, having predicted Iran to win versus England 2-1 for 3 points. He does still have France to play tonight, so we'll know more on Friday.
I can't even remember what I said about
You said France to win and Iran to win against England 2-1.
Okay, cool. As I'm still in the running.
We have Andreas on 0 points, having said Denmark to win by at least 2 for 1 point and Mexico to win for 3 points.
My own nation failing me here. It's terrible.
And then we have yours truly, England to win by four or more versus Iran for 3 points, which I got.
Oh my God. Australia just scored against France.
Oh, it's a day for the upset.
What is happening?
Okay, I don't feel that bad anymore. Okay, I'm feeling better.
I
now.
am so
A
shocked.
long ball up to the wing.
Wow.
Oh
Wow.
my soul.
This is the
I
true
am-
definition of live podcasting, where everything we see is what's
Okay,
going
now.
on right now.
I can't anymore. Let's just wrap this up, okay?
This is the weirdest World Cup ever.
Oh my god.
It's absolutely crazy. So that means Warren could end up on 0 points as well.
Well, it's still a long 90 minutes to go with extra time. So,
Fair enough. And then I also had Messi to score versus Saudi Arabia, which he did with the penalty for 1 point. So I got 4 points in the league so far. Richard said Wales to win for 1 point, which they didn't, and Messi to have 3 goal contributions versus Saudi Arabia for 3 points. So he ended on 0-2. So far it's Harry 4, Richard, Andreas, Abu 0, and we'll update that later with Warren's score as well. Week 2 predictions. Warren, I'll come to you first for your.
can you put the thingy on the thingy?
Yeah, I'll put
Can you put the things on the thingy?
Yeah.
the only fixtures missing from this, because it won't let me do the whole thing, are let me see if I can get this to scroll along the bottom. The only fixtures missing are the England USA game and the Netherlands Ecuador game.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can you just-
also it's probably best not to take the last games if we can avoid that, but like doesn't matter.
Okay. I'm gonna say this is difficult. I'm gonna say Portugal will beat Ghana. And I need to have like a bold prediction here for 3 points. Shit. I can't think of what. I can't think of another one. I think my bold one is gonna be that Brazil concedes a goal against Serbia. I don't know if that's bold enough.
Okay, so Portugal to beat Ghana and Brazil to concede versus Serbia. 1 point and 3 points, Andreas?
Yeah, Portugal is 1 point. I think the other one is fair to say 3.
Fair enough.
This one is difficult. The matches are.
It is.
Andreas, your predictions, sir?
Okay, I'm going with Hazard. Eden Hazard is going to either score a goal or make an assist against Canada.
Okay.
And for the other one, let's go with. It's difficult. It's really difficult.
It is difficult.
I'm going to say that Spain is going to score at least 3 goals against Costa Rica. So just need to score 3. They don't need to win with 3 or more. Just score 3.
Okay.
What do you reckon in terms of points, Warren?
The last one is 3 points. The Hazard one is 1 point.
Okay.
1 point for Hazard, really? Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. I will go with Vinny Jr. to score against Serbia. And
Fair enough.
I will go with Canada to upset Belgium.
Yeah, that's good.
So win over Belgium.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so that's
not
3
fair.
points.
An upset, so a draw or a win.
I guess still 3 points. I think 3 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then 1 point for the Vinny one.
Yeah, because that's obviously gonna happen.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You have Abu and Richard's predictions, Andreas, if you want to read them out for us, so I can put them all together.
Okay, so hold up. Need to find them here. So
what is happening?
Abu is saying, hold up, let me see here. Abu is saying Senegal to win against Qatar with at least 3-goal difference.
Or at least 3 goals. Okay.
Yeah. And the other one is Croatia to win and Modric won't score or assist.
Croatia to win without Modric scoring.
Yes, or assist. Yeah. I
Fair
think
enough.
yeah,
I think
go
3 points for them both.
on.
3 points to them both.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
I mean, do you think Modric to not score?
I think the Modric one is bold. I think the Modric one is bold. I know it's a lot of points, but I think they are bold.
Okay.
No, we don't have to do it.
No, I'm not saying anything.
So we're going with.
Yeah, I think 3 is fine for both.
Okay. Give me a second.
And then the Richard one.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, go for Richards.
Portugal to beat Ghana.
Someone's being a copycat.
I haven't seen his predictions yet, so I don't know.
and Netherlands to win 2-0. Against who is that against? It's against Ecuador.
Ecuador. 1 for each. We gave Warren 1 for Portugal to beat Ghana, so we have to give Richard 1 as well.
Yeah.
And
I think
1 for both. Okay.
Yeah, one for both, because Netherlands is obviously gonna get 2 goals.
Richard needs to get it together. Like they are too obvious.
He wants to do 60 push-ups next time. Lunges next time.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And that is that then. Thank you everybody for watching. We should be back on Friday. Not sure yet, but we should be back Friday as usual. Thank you all for watching. We do appreciate it as always. It's always great. We did have a couple of people watching and people interacting, which is always good because we always enjoy that. And viewer interaction is a huge part of this. So please make sure you like and subscribe so you know when our next podcast is, so you don't miss it. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back Friday. Have a good few days, and yeah, see you guys.